Now,
So you just take that.
definitely fracture a skull.
You
It
take
could.
that to the chops.
I don't want to. Do I have to?
No, but
In
I mean,
this experiment? There's some...
Chainsaw, snowplow.
Welcome back, folks. It's the Unrestricted. Jeff Vexler, Richard Carnahan, and Bob in studio. Bob, thanks for all your hard work last week.
Absolutely, man.
At
Appreciate
the
it,
Broadway
Bob.
50/50, and thanks to Broadway 50/50's
Thank you
PJ
very much.
Gottsacker for letting us have a blast out there. Cut 4 episodes, for God's sakes. One of them hadn't even dropped yet, so stay tuned for that.
are any of them
Arable?
correct?
Well,
Can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
the one I dropped first was the betting one where we went over and over again about how Michigan was going to truck TCU, and how'd that turn out for us?
Yeah.
We did not get anything right in either of those games.
Oh, no,
My boy Roger Gregg wants an apology.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sorry, Roger.
Sorry,
No.
Roger.
No, I got the Georgia-Ohio State game right.
You did. I got the side right, but I had said I thought it was going to be a walkover.
Yeah, I said take Ohio State into points and take Georgia on the money line.
So we have a lot to discuss today. This
Yeah.
is a big show. I mean, things we will get to later that are not top billing. Chris Beard getting fired officially today as University of Texas men's head basketball coach. Adios, Chris.
The best job in the world is a fired college anything coach because he's walking away with some money.
No doubt. TCU going for all the marbles on Monday. You got the U.S. men's national team in the middle of a soap opera, an absolute soap opera. I can't even hardly believe it.
I mean, I know it was the player's mom that did the whole threatening shit.
Okay.
But does that kid ever get the trust of the locker room ever again for pulling that shit?
No.
Well, is his dad?
President of FC Austin.
Right.
Austin FC.
But is Reina?
Yeah, Claudio.
Is Claudio a dual citizen?
I would assume so.
Maybe he can play for that Latin
Okay,
American country.
okay. So we got to get to all of that, but the headline, obviously, of this week is what happened in Monday nights. The big news today, he's come to, at least to some degree, able to perform tasks such as writing, and he comes into consciousness and...
So the first thing he says, he writes, "Did we win?" And his doctor said, "You won. You won the game of life."
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And I think everybody out there who's a sports fan of any kind, even my wife who doesn't care about sports, passed that news along to me as it came across her feed today. It was like, oh, this is great. Thank God. I mean, people are invested in this, even my parents.
I'm really happy that he is awake. He is neurologically intact, which is more than I can say for myself.
Right. And look, there's a future that is still has a question mark that hangs over it.
Well, I mean,
we don't know how he came out of this precisely.
I mean, the future isn't bad. Chris Pronger from the St. Louis Blues had this happen just a couple years ago. Had got a puck in the chest, out like a light on the ice, was playing 2 games later.
There you go.
So
hopefully things are good.
If it really is what everyone is speculating it is, which is commotio cordis, I think he comes back.
Look, I don't want to do that thing where I don't want to do either one of these two things. I don't want to look back to Monday and say, oh, what were you thinking when it happened?
Yeah.
Because I think everybody's done that. And we were all communicating with each other. Oh, my God, I hope I didn't watch somebody just die on the field. I also don't want to do that thing where we pretend like we're medical experts and we know what's
I
going
stayed
to
at a
happen
Holiday Inn
with
last
the kid.
night.
Well, that and a bag of chips, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to do this because I saw this article in the New York Times today that I think a lot of people read as, oh, well, then let's cancel football. Did you see this article by any chance?
No.
But that really
I didn't see
wasn't
it, no.
that really wasn't the message that I got out of it. The quote that came out of it was this, and I think this is what's most important. It's not, oh, by the way, it's not necessarily a great article. It's not perfectly written, but I thought that this part was the most important. It always will in a game this violent. The league can better police blows to the head. It can penalize or even toss out players who injure opponents with dirty plays. But violence and danger will remain at the beating heart of football. Take it out, and the game is football, no more. Like,
It's a game of competitive violence.
that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we were taught to take people's heads off.
Yeah.
That's how you tackled. And then when I went and played rugby in college, they're like, sorry, Chief, that doesn't fly. So they taught us how to tackle in rugby, where you bring them down behind you so you can collect the ball, collect possession.
Mm.
But, I mean, Coach Bird, love you, knock his head off.
Sure. And it gets taught that even at a younger age than high school, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so this is what it made me think of as I was reading this article, having watched Monday. Have you guys seen a Netflix special called Human Playground?
Well, now I have, since you wanted me to
Since
watch
I-
it before
yeah.
the show.
Okay.
My
so
wife won't let me watch that kind of stuff.
It's not bad. It's not like
She
not
NC-17 the
Centipede.
shit out
our
of my...
body is your playground.
I don't know the password.
It's not 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh, boy.
So it's like 6 episodes, and I totally encourage everybody to watch it. What it does is it goes around the world, Japan, Africa, everywhere, and delves into cultural, usually small cultural sports that contain real serious, dangerous risks and often violence. The easiest example for me to use is sumo, right? These sumo kids get trained and fed 5,000 calorie meals from like the time they're 7. They're taken away from their parents and they're just shoveled food into their mouths. Like, at least we don't do that in football, right? I mean, right? And like in Senegal, they have their version of sumo, which is even more deadly than actual
Because
sumo.
they can punch them, right?
Yeah, you can punch. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's much more MMA
Yeah.
than anything else. Yeah, in other parts of Africa, you have stick fighting, which can result in death. You have, dude, I saw this guy at the rodeo this year who was like 100 yards away from the bull, and the bull starts charging, and he does a front flip over the flipping bull. Okay, like this is crazy stuff. And it comes with dangerous risks, right? But people still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like those guys aren't getting paid exponentially, what you or me make, like NFL football players are. But at the beginning of this show, Idris Elba, who's the narrator of this show, he says, and I want to get this quote right, playing is the ultimate way to learn about our bodies and our minds. And it's the most dangerous games that push us to our limits. Games that are tough, painful, and often deadly help us to explore what we are actually capable of. Seeking out pain is not for the faint-hearted. Everyone has a personal reason to play these games. And I look at that and I go, and I add that to what Hamlin said coming into consciousness. His first fucking question.
Did we win?
Did we win? And I'm like, man, that is sport. And that is why football is just America's version
Of gladiators.
Of-
Gladiator.
yes, or of any of these sports that
Head
are
on down to the Coliseum. And
Mexican cliff divers, right? You've seen these guys that like dive into these tiny little pools and they die like all the time. It happens. Okay, we used to put like Bangladeshi children on camels for camel races, right? And they died all the time.
that
Yeah.
sounds pretty racist, Jeff.
It happened. I mean, I didn't just like make it up. The Saudis would go like steal a bunch of kids from another country and put them on the backs of
And
camels.
in other sports, the death aspect is a little bit closer to the surface. I remember I texted you guys. I remember watching Dan Weldon die.
Yeah.
At Las Vegas, and I had raced with Dan Weldon online. So I had raced with a bunch of IndyCar drivers online, and
No inherent danger there.
yeah,
There's another one though. Yeah.
those IndyCar drivers racing online were crazy.
I guess
because
so.
they knew they couldn't die.
Right.
But I remember that, and that race got called
Right.
at that point, even though that is at the top of the limit. But the coaches, they did the right thing by their players.
I totally
Those
agree.
are leaders.
Totally agree. I thought canceling that game was the right thing. I think there's been a lot of blowback on how long it took to cancel it. Give me a break, man. Sometimes it takes a minute to get the right answer.
That's right.
And
Are you
just-
aware of the bureaucracy that is the NFL?
Yeah, you have to get the right answer. I don't care how long it takes to get the right answer. They got to the right answer and they made it. That the only thing for me that I was honestly super concerned about at the time was that it took 30 minutes from the hit to getting him out of the stadium on the ambulance, and that seemed like a long time.
And that was real interesting as they talked about, one of the reasons why they didn't call the game right away was they didn't want to call the game and have people leave the stadium.
So
They
the
wanted to wait
ambulances
till the
could get 'em
ambulance was on the way
to the
before they
hospital.
called the game.
Well,
Yeah.
that was really smart.
Yeah.
That's good logistics by whoever made that call.
And the NFL, when it comes to that level of medical response, does it right.
So they got that right. And as you were watching the broadcast, I think it was Aikman or Buck, one of them said they've administered CPR multiple times.
That's
And
when I started freaking out a
that's
little bit.
absolutely. But what they didn't say, and what I guess has become apparent, was they also got the paddles out
Yeah.
of the ambulance. And when you combine those two things, CPR obviously giving oxygen to the blood, making sure that there's less brain damage, and then the paddles to try to restart, it's like, okay, they're essentially giving him the care that he'd basically get once he gets to the hospital to begin with.
Right.
So do it as quickly as you can. And then my understanding is if you get to the hospital alive in these situations, you're going to make it.
They were right there, which is amazing. I feel that, you know, in the other sports where this type of injury, if this is the type of injury it was, where it happens, baseball, lacrosse,
They don't have the staff on the field.
if you're a high school baseball player and you get hit by a line drive into your chest and do this, you're dead.
You get a DoorDash
No
faster
doubt.
than you get a
But
medical professional.
to me, it all comes back to like Sir Edmund Hillary. It's like, why do men climb mountains? Because they're there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you have these idiot ass, I'm sorry, no offense if you do it, but ultra marathon runners who put themselves damn near death every single time they go on these 120-mile races across the Saharan effing desert, right? And they have medical staff out there, and it's got to be just maddening for these people. I mean, of course you're getting yourself into a near-death experience. It's 130 degrees out here.
Yeah, and switching to a different sport, free solo climbing.
There you
those
go.
guys are
Where
crazy.
There
if
you
you
go.
fall, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, the helicopter can get you in 5 hours.
Maybe.
You know? Maybe, right, yeah.
Well, they're picking up the broken bones because you've
Yeah.
fallen from 200 feet.
So I was terrified, literally mortified, that we were going to be watching a death. And I read up on this. The NFL considers there to have been 4 deaths in its history. And
Do-
maybe they just mean in the modern era. But Detroit Lions wide receiver Chuck Hughes died of a heart attack in a 1971 game against the Bears. Cardinals tight end J.V. Kane had a heart attack during training camp in 79. And the Vikings offensive tackle Corey Stringer died of a heat stroke in 2001. And in 2005, Thomas Harrion of the 49ers playing against the Broncos in a preseason game died in the locker room just after the game. But I was mortified we were watching another one. And I will be honest, I don't remember any of those others with the exception of Corey Stringer, who died of a heat stroke in
Remember
2001.
Corey?
That was in
Um,
practice.
That was practice, yep. And obviously not televised, but I was just mortified. And to find out that, like, he's going to make it, man, spike the football.
Yeah.
That is really
Yep.
cool. So,
Yep.
you know, people like to say, well, don't talk about that yet. Well, we can walk and chew gum, okay? Well, thoughts and prayers are over there. That's one thing, but here's our chewing gum. What are they going to do with this game? Because it matters. It matters a lot. And if you're the Bengals, it matters even more because you're playing for home field advantage.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the PR impact of it for the Bengals. They can't do anything but go along with it. They can't say anything publicly about we're getting screwed. They can't say anything publicly about we're giving up a number 1 seed because of this. They can't say anything publicly.
You're right. They can't say that. But you know they want to play it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think this game's got to get played.
They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it though.
You really don't think so?
Nope.
Why not?
Logistically, you can't. I know the whole thing about the Pro Bowl has that 1 week,
Of course.
but no, I don't think you can. There's a lot of
Because everybody's-
logistics to the playoffs.
Everybody's beat up.
Yeah.
You've got a game plan.
Yeah.
Both teams have games coming up.
Yeah.
They can't fit it in.
Why wouldn't you just push the playoffs back, as Bob mentioned? Just push them back a week.
Money, bud. Follow the money.
Well, the game's still going to get played. And speaking of money, if you're one of the fans that bought tickets to that game, you getting refunds? I'm just asking.
They should, but you're going to play that game and you're going to ask those teams to ramp up to play a game again, which they had a full workup for that game, and then do it all over again. I mean, that's another bit of wear and tear on the body going into the playoffs. And you're going to play that game before you play playoff games, so every other playoff team gets another week in between.
And that's a playoff game.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Those two teams are in the playoffs. They may play each other.
Yeah. So you're going to kill me for this. But do you realize how this impacts my fantasy team?
Yeah. What'd you say a long time ago?
Yeah.
No one
you
gives
and your
a
baby.
fuck about anybody else's fantasy team.
Yep.
Except
All they
you.
care about is their own.
So I had 2 players going that night, and they were going to go off. T. Higgins and Stephon Diggs. And the opponent had Jamar Chase. So they've called it. Yahoo Leagues have called it. It's over. Like, tough titty, Jeff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, wait a minute. If we're doing that, then shouldn't the Bengals win that game 7-3?
No.
I mean, no. There's no way.
No way.
No.
We can't call it a draw. They're winning.
No, they're going to call it a no contest.
Yep. Like it never happened.
Man, that is
Not
that
even
is
a tie.
I am a show must go on kind of guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, I don't know whether it was the NFL, they said there is just bad mojo about this game right now. I think that's another reason why they're not going to play this game.
What?
If
Because
you're the Bengals and the Bills, do you want to go back to Cincinnati and play on that same field within a week and a half?
I think it would be a pretty cool way to show Hamlin that, like, hey, dude, we love you and we're thinking of you, and you cared so much about the outcome of this game. We're playing it. We're playing it.
They're going to call it a no contest. I think they've been waiting for the news that he's come out and he's awake.
Yep.
And it's good news from the doctors. And now they'll make the announcement either today or tomorrow. If this was week 2 or week 3, you can do stuff. You can't do stuff this late in the season.
Sure.
Richie's been really, really quiet.
I know.
Well, I'm listening
You're
to
being
you.
very pensive.
Well,
Ooh, good word.
no, they're doing the right thing. Jeff, I know you want to see him play, but they can't do it. To game plan, and then when they're playing, someone's getting screwed. So the way that they look at it is, let's act like it didn't happen. Everybody's going to finish week 18, and then you look at the standings, and then you go, the team that's getting screwed is the Cincinnati Bengals, but their leader already said, you know what, we'll do whatever the Bills want to do. We're not thinking about football at this moment. We're thinking about that
Which is cool of Joe
young
Burrow.
man's life.
Yeah.
That's what's
Real
most
cool.
important.
And they made it to the Super Bowl last year in the same situation, winning the AFC North and moving on from there.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Kansas City at home. So
Which they beat 3 times in a row.
Should I also add that this impacts my Cincinnati Bengals to win the AFC
Yeah.
regular season?
I knew you were going there
Okay.
too.
I still think you
Why
have a good
so-
chance of that.
Yeah.
I'm very wary of the Chiefs. I am really very wary of the Bills.
Well, but as is, I mean, I see what you're saying. Bills lose week 18. Bengals win. Chiefs lose.
Who are the Bills playing this week?
Patriots.
That's right.
They're not going to lose that game.
Chiefs play at the Raiders.
They're not going to lose that game.
No.
Hey, but Tom Brady's going to be a Raider next year.
That's what I'm hearing.
Why?
At this point,
Why would he want to go there?
he's like a broken down gambler that can't stop.
You're right.
He's like, my marriage is over. I'm just going to sling it.
I mean,
He's going to be homeless on like Vero Beach.
He ain't going to be homeless, but he's going to be alone. Well, there'll be call girls and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is he coming back for any situation that isn't a Super Bowl run? And I'm sorry, the Raiders aren't doing a Super Bowl run. Devontae Adams notwithstanding, the Raiders
At this
are not doing a
point,
Super Bowl
it's
run.
an addiction. I think he'd play for the San Antonio Brahmas.
Oh, speaking of them,
alongside-
Johnny Manziel coming
Oh,
in.
my
Allegedly.
God.
I tried to. There's no reputable source that says that's real.
Folks, Johnny Manziel may or may not have signed with a San Antonio football team called the San Antonio Brahmas.
XFL.
Oh, is that what that is? Thank you for telling
For
me. I
the
had no
love
idea.
of God and all that is holy,
Heinz,
please no.
Heinz Ward is the coach.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, wait.
That's cool.
Where have you been?
I had no idea. I don't watch the XFL.
Well, you haven't
He was
been able
celebrating
to.
Chinooka.
Let me ask
Happy Chinooka.
let me ask you this. Do you think you could still get Johnny Manziel into San Antonio Country Club?
No,
No, I don't think so either.
that's a hard pass.
But there was a time when he was shaking hands over there.
People are trying to make it happen.
Uh-huh. I don't think that's happening.
That's no. No, but I told
Heinz
you
Ward, maybe.
they need to change the name from the Brahmas to the 8 Balls.
Hey, man, if Johnny Manziel is playing football in San Antonio, people are going to go see it.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
of course they are.
People are going to that.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
yeah. Get that sweet number 2 jersey.
It's
Just switching lanes quickly. Chris Beard out at Texas. I don't have a whole lot to say about this other than I think we all saw this coming.
You can't not fire him.
Right.
And he's
What,
gonna,
Bob? What? Now you look pensive.
he chokes out his fiance and he's going to be walking away with millions of dollars. Because I'm sorry, you can't fire a man for cause based on pending charges.
I don't think he can you? I mean, it has to be.
I mean, I
Proven
think it's
in a
up.
court of
I think it's
law.
up in the air, and you have his fiance going, no, yeah, and not really happen. Kept coming back on it.
How many coaches is the University of Texas paying to
Oh, boy.
not coach there right now?
Mac Brown's still getting a check.
I mean, it's got to be 6. And I'm just talking about major sports.
That is the best job in
Shaka
college
Smart.
sports.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, really.
Anywhere at Texas?
The dead money is incredible.
God, I mean, their endowment is also incredible. And thank God it is. But, like, holy Moses, man. They can't get it right. And Chris Beard seemed to be the right guy. That's who I would have taken.
I'm wondering who can I choke to walk away with my millions of dollars.
No, you don't
No,
have
buddy,
that kind of a
bud.
guaranteed contract, buddy. Let me tell you, don't even try it. And then we
But-
get TCU Monday night playing for everything, which is way.
I don't think I showed you that.
What picture is this, buddy? Oh, you played golf with Vince Young.
Well, no, he was behind us.
Did I
Oh,
tell you to
okay.
fuck off too?
No, Vince liked me. I snapped the drive intentionally over by 15 so I could get a picture with him and Sloan Thomas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Talking about getting screwed. That was a touchdown for Michigan.
Michigan fan here.
He did not possess the ball until he was in the end zone.
I have to tell you, I totally agree. It was a touchdown.
But you don't fumble. And you hand it off to some guy who I don't think has been playing very much football. He's not first string. I don't know what the hell you don't fumble the ball. until 1
Harbaugh
yard
has
line.
now lost 6 straight bowl games. Is that right? I mean, that's incredible.
He's going too.
Yeah.
He
and
wants to go to Denver.
Now he's got a foot out the door. He should. Look, he did not coach a good game. TCU did their standard, like, hey, we play this goofy style. Oh, y'all aren't even ready for it?
Dude, Michigan almost out TCU'd TCU.
Yes, they did. I got to tell you, though, in the 9 years we've had the playoff, that was the best day of semifinals.
best
we've
semifinals
had
ever.
by
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
It was way cool to watch.
Yeah.
And the way the kick went in with 10 seconds left on the New York City ball drop, that was amazing. I mean, way cool. Did y'all have the same experience?
Yeah, no,
No,
I thought
it was
a great
great.
week. It was
Okay.
average before this weekend. Average point differential in a semifinal
What was
game:
it?
21 points.
Yes. There
Yeah.
you go. That's why I was betting on both of them to be blowouts. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Does TCU have a chance?
I think so.
they're playing the game and nobody else is, so yeah, they have a chance.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah.
Like, we were all, oh, they're going to get trucked. Great story.
Yeah.
They're there. They deserve to be there. And let's go.
I mean, Georgia's defensive line is nasty.
Yeah, they are.
The good thing about TCU, they get rid of the football really fast. I mean, or at least they can when they need to. Like, that actually makes me think they have a good chance at this. And I saw that Mattress Mac, who you
3
should-
million.
Yeah, you should always bet with whatever Mattress Mac is doing because apparently he never loses.
He's
How come
got-
we never hear about those bets that he makes?
Well, recently he's gotten a lot more coverage. Like, did you not see the picture of him with a
Of
wheelbarrow
course I did.
of cash?
Coming out on the Astros win.
Uh-huh.
But we never hear about the one where he puts money on, like, the Rockets to win their division and loses.
I'm going into
That
this-
one hadn't happened in
I'm
a while.
presuming he loses.
I'm going into that store after he wins $75 million for the Astros and going, I want a deal on my mattress.
Yeah.
That's how he does it. That's how he does it, man. He's a brilliant guy. And he has, I thought it was 1.5 million on TCU.
No, it's 3 million across 4 or 5 different books.
Oh, wow.
Guy's
Good
a
man.
Baller.
I know. He's so cool.
I think he loses that bet. I don't see it. I think Georgia comes out of that Ohio State game going, ooh, we're kind of lucky to get out of that one and comes out and is more prepared. I have more faith in Georgia at this level than I do in TCU, but I've been saying that I've been dissing on TCU all along.
Yeah.
Kind of like Ninkovich on Get Up, dissing on Aaron Rodgers. And finally this morning he told Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry.
So quickly, U.S. men's national team drama as Claudio Reyna's wife threatens to rat out Berhalter during the World Cup if her son doesn't start playing for allegedly kicking his wife. Well, not even allegedly, admittedly kicking his wife when they were 18 years old.
25 years ago.
That's not a thing. That's not like a fireable thing.
It's a we don't bring you back kind of thing.
Yeah, and his contract did run out on December 31st. Yeah. I still think he comes back. I don't think this is a deal breaker. Like, why should it be?
If you're Reyna, where are you playing this next season? Because you ain't playing for the U.S. men's national team.
No, this is a soap opera.
Yeah.
And it's so soccer.
Well, obviously, and we've made this point several times, we don't condone any sort of domestic violence whatsoever. But to live and play sport in 2022, 2023, it doesn't really matter if you're a good coach. You just have to stay out of trouble. You have to have a clean foul sheet.
I mean, for sure.
Talking about domestic violence, you see the Dana White video?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Chris Beard may be working in the UFC.
Yeah. What is up with this, man? Just men hitting their women.
Well,
in public, no less.
Well, and he's fired several fighters for that kind of stuff.
Yes, he has.
Do you give him a pass that he was the one that was hit first? I mean,
No.
here's my feeling.
Doesn't matter.
Domestic violence, whether it's man on woman, woman on man, man on man, woman on woman, I don't care. All of it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You just can't do that. I don't care if she slapped or hit you first.
She slapped him pretty hard.
She did. She did. And by the way, it's okay to grab her wrist as he did and try to subdue her. Totally fine, right? But you can't hit her back unless she's got a knife. Okay, that's just right? No.
So that's the line?
I think so.
If someone has a
Deadly
knife,
weapon.
Okay, like baseball bat.
Yep. Yep, you
Okay.
can get hit for that.
Socket wrench.
Ooh, not deadly enough.
Really?
Allen wrench? Allen wrench? No way.
I have a socket wrench in here. Do we want to
I
see?
have it in my hand.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nah, man, this isn't lethal enough. Now,
So you just take that.
definitely fracture a skull.
You
It
take
could.
that to the chops.
I don't want to. Do I have to?
No, but
In
I mean,
this experiment?
yeah, power saw,
There's some
Chainsaw, snowplow.
snowplow, for
snowplow,
sure.
which apparently is killing a lot of people nowadays.
It's not killing them; it's maiming them.
Well, nonetheless.
Sending him to the ICU.
He's not gonna.
Jeremy
get to-
Renner, you make enough money, hire somebody.
Does anything happen to Dana White?
It's real. There's so much going on. This news cycle's good for him, but there's got to be. I mean, just like
The shares of his parent company are tanking.
Yes, they are.
That may be the one thing that takes him down.
Always does. Follow the money, right?
Mhm.
Like you always say.
FTM.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to finish up the podcast by going back to football. So, as I have a 7-year-old who plays, and Richard, you have an older boy that plays as well. I'm not going to encourage my son to play football because I know of its inherent dangers, right? We've seen it, we've experienced it, we know it, right? But if my son wants to play football,
Mhm.
I'm not going to tell him no. But it's the same exact way that I would look at it if he came to me and he said, Dad, I really want to try rock climbing. Well, son, I'm not thrilled about it. I kind of don't want you to. But if that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, and
because of its inherent risk.
and to your point with the quote, there's risk in everything. There are more concussions in youth soccer
Oh yeah.
than there are in youth football.
Yeah.
Because you're heading the ball, and they've kind of outlawed the heading and all that. There's going to be a risk in everything. I mean, we talked about baseball players getting hit in the sternum with a baseball. Yeah.
These things can happen. Football, obviously, more dangerous than, let's say, tennis. Okay, right? I mean, I think it's safe to say that.
Unless you're a line judge and it's John McEnroe.
But my point in bringing up that human playground show is that every culture has their sort of gladiatorial sport, right? Every single one does.
Mhm.
And like, sure as hell, we're treating our athletes better than some of them are. One improvement I would like to see made, as I listened to Dominique Foxworth, who used to be the head of the NFL Players Association earlier today, talking about how because of his short tenure, Damar Hamlin, only 2 years, he doesn't have vested interest in the NFL. So he doesn't qualify for his pension, doesn't qualify for health insurance post-playing career, doesn't qualify for the health reimbursement accounts. So that is something that has to change.
Agreed.
All right. They have billions of dollars coming in. Franchises that were bought for $250 million can sell for $4 billion. I mean, holy Moses. There is enough money flowing through there to take care of every player who's ever played it down.
Actors,
they got to get that done.
Actors with a SAG card have insurance.
Exactly.
And these guys are getting in car crashes.
Yeah.
Multiple car crashes every Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely get behind health insurance for every one of them for
life.
Forever.
life.
For life.
I don't know about the pension for a guy that's played 1 year.
No, I get that. Maybe not the pension, but it's the health insurance part of it that is
Absolutely.
the most important. And I want to add that the top layer of that is guaranteed contracts. They're the only major sport in the United States that doesn't have guaranteed contracts. You have got to have guaranteed contracts. I don't get it. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, these guys, they get signed and you get cut and now you get nothing. That's crap.
Well, because there's a cap limit. In baseball, there's no cap limit.
Well, correct, but the NBA has a cap and they have guaranteed contracts. You can work your way through.
But you never hear about the NBA's cap because it's a ridiculous number and they only have 9 players on the team.
No. As a basketball dork, we hear about the cap all the time. All the time. And by the way, you should be able to exceed the cap in certain circumstances where you cut a player. That would be fine, right?
Yeah.
But these guys need to be guaranteed their money. Whether they're paid on the books, under the salary cap for that season or off the books. I don't care. But like if I'm Hamlin and I get drafted, was he 6th round if my memory serves? I believe that's right.
Yeah, something like that. And he only came off the practice squad this season.
So when you get up there and you get signed, that needs to be a 3-year deal, right? Like, hey, I'd love to play. I need a 3-year deal. Okay, well, you were 6th round pick, so that puts you in this tier of salary. And, we all have bonuses and incentives based on how many plays you play, how many plays you make, Pro Bowl incentives, et cetera, et cetera. But you have a baseline salary over 3 years. And even if you get cut from that football team, you ought to be collecting it.
Yeah.
And even if that money is off the salary cap books, you ought to be collecting it. NFL players have to have guaranteed contracts. They put themselves, Dominique Foxworth said it right. He was like, usually, whether you're investing in something, whether you're doing a sport or whatever, the risks have to be proportionate to the reward, right?
Well, and I bet
NFL
Roger Goodell's contract is guaranteed.
It is.
And
it is.
Just real quick exercise. I know it's not great radio,
Sure.
but how much has Roger Goodell made?
Making or made?
Es todo.
Well, I mean, his annual's like up to
40-ish?
$25 million.
No, it's 40.
It's like
Is it to 40 now?
49. It's like 40.
Holy Moses.
It's sick money.
Yeah. Okay, so he's...
Holy motherfucking God.
Yeah.
Wow, that much?
Yeah.
It's both seasons. $63.9 million between the 2019, 20 and 2020, 2021 seasons. So that's $63.9 million per year in each of the past 2 years.
Yep.
Holy mother.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd buy his own franchise.
Well, but the owners get everything they need out of him. He's the guy that walks out onto the bulwarks and says, "Shoot me with the arrows," so Jerry Jones can sit back and go, that's fun. That's funny to watch.
No doubt about it, okay? And having a high salary for Roger Goodell doesn't surprise me. $60 million surprises me. I mean, you couldn't find a guy to do it for 12? I mean,
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Adam-
I am a guy.
Adam Silver would do it for 12 because that'd be a raise. He only makes 10.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Wow.
Rob Manfred, 17.5.
Yeah, they have to have guaranteed contracts, and they ought to be vested in their healthcare program the minute
Immediately.
they step on the field.
Agreed.
I mean, these are changes that I want to see made. Maybe this will be the guy that, in the instance, that makes it happen. And, you know, look, this whole week has kind of reminded me of like after a school shooting, because everybody's like so depressed because of what they saw, paying attention to the news, reading everything, and that emotionally, you know, shakes us all. And then somebody says, no, it's not time to talk about that. Well, when is the right time to talk about it? For God's sakes. Now's the right, we can walk and chew gum. And I'm glad you guys were able to do that with me. Appreciate it. Join us again on The Unrestricted, folks.
Thanks.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. It feel good, don't it? It feel good. It feel good cause you know it's